Bring on fire to the studio mics. Tune in weekly, we're dropping the spikes. Analyzing every punch, every kick that lands. Maniacs in the game, playing with fans' demands. Ken's got the insight, Joe's got the flair. Mapping out the fights will take you anywhere. So grab your popcorn, buckle up tight.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I do.
What's up, guys? Back again, MMAniacs Podcast, joined as always by Bare Knuckle Ken. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, man?
Oh, did you see that fight on Saturday, Strickland and Hernandez? Dude, so give me your thoughts on that fight.
Strickland looked pretty damn dominant in that fight.
Yeah.
And man, it's kind of hard to not say you got to give him the next title shot. He was already a top contender. He just wiped the floor with another top contender.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I definitely think he should be next for Hamzat, but the question is, like, this leads to a, and no disrespect to Anthony Hernandez, like, he's a good fighter. He had I feel like his strategy was sound in a sense, but it's just Strickland is just so hard to take down, and he's probably I know that Ilya is a very good technical boxer and he has crazy power, but Strickland might be the best technical boxer in MMA. Like, strictly boxing.
Would you put him above Max Holloway?
I put them. I think they're definitely in the same league. Like it's just they're different fighters. Like Max is a volume guy. He has combinations. Strickland is a 1-2 guy. He's a guy that, but his punch, his boxing defense and his jab, he has a beautiful jab, dude. And I just, from the very first round, you just saw him just kept pumping that jab into his face over and over and over again, just sticking that jab in his face. And I was just like, man, like, this is going to be a bloody dude by the third round, man. Like, because those jabs, like, they might not be knockout punches, but
they hurt.
They hurt and they sting after a while, dude. And you, especially when you're eating 45 of them, dude. Like,
you're getting that shit all up in your mush. There's a whole bunch of very small blood vessels all in there. So it's going to compromise your breathing. You're going to be tasting the blood on top of it. And not only that, it's constantly resetting you from trying to set up your shit, because it's just constantly, oh, here we go back an inch. Here we go back another inch.
And yeah, I thought that Strickland did a really good job of that. Of every time it looked like Hernandez was set to try to throw, all of a sudden he's got another jab or two in his face. And it's like, now he's got to move around and reset. And Strickland does that to everybody, man. Like, his jab is so active. Strickland looked like a championship level fighter. I just wish that dude would kick more. If he would incorporate kicks into his game, maybe even a takedown, like, he would be unstoppable, bro.
I get what you're saying, but after watching Sean Strickland, like I have, I can't really see him committing to the takedowns.
No, I'm not saying he's ever going to change his style. I'm just saying, imagine if he actually added these things to his repertoire. Like, he would be unstoppable, dude. Like, if he threw leg kicks and body kicks, you know what I mean?
That's the one that I think that he should be incorporating, is the leg kicks, because it still relatively fits into his style. Because it's not too hard to throw out leg kicks from that boxing stance, even with you trying to keep him at bay with the jab or set up your own shit with the jab. Use the jab and get yourself into position for the leg kick.
Yeah. I agree. Strickland, he looked really good, but the other side of that coin, like, we have to ask ourselves, it's a fair question, I think, based on what we saw. was Anthony Hernandez kind of rushed along into the top 5, you think? Like, do you think that there was too much emphasis placed on his last win to where basically what I'm saying, did Sean Strickland kind of show that Anthony Hernandez doesn't belong in the top 5? Just with how dominant that performance was?
I don't know if it was necessarily that Hernandez doesn't belong. I kind of more get the feeling that Strickland's about to go on a tear. That's what it feels like to me.
So you think it's just more of a styles make fights kind of a thing, and that Strickland's style was just all wrong for him?
Yeah.
Fair enough. And like I said, no disrespect to Anthony Hernandez. You know, he's actually from Woodland, which is like an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half away from where I live. So, you know, he's kind of a hometown kid, like, you know, but it just, yeah, I felt like he was just completely outclassed in that fight. And Strickland made it look easy. And Strickland got a finish. Like, when does Strickland ever finish anybody? Like, he almost finished Izzy. Give him that. And in the first round, he almost had Izzy out of there. But Izzy has crazy recovery, dude. Like, he managed to hang in there and then make it a fight. Like, well, I won't say make it a fight. I'll say he managed to survive the 5 rounds. You know, because Strickland pretty much, I think he 49-46'd him. Like, he just completely outboxed him, and he didn't play Izzy's game. And so, to me, that's one of Strickland's greatest assets as a fighter, is that he does not play your game. He forces you to play his game. And it's very, I've yet to see a fighter. I think Dricus was the one who came closest to actually forcing Sean to fight his kind of fight. But even then, it was a split decision. And to me, that fight really just came down to the power advantage. Like, we both know Dricus has stupid hammers, like stupid hammers, bro. Like, he can hit you on an awkward angle and still stumble you. Like, so to me, the power advantage was what changed, what gave that fight to Dricus just barely. Because Sean landed his fair share, dude, and it was a good fight. But you mentioned that Dricus, or excuse me, that Sean should be next for Hamzat.
That's what I'd like to see. But after this win, Strickland did not move 1 inch in the standings.
Really?
Yep. He's still at 3. Now, Hernandez dropped down to 6. But how do you not move him up with all that?
Because Dricus is still going to be number 1 based off the fact that he's the former champ. He hasn't had his rematch, and he defended the title a few times. So who's number 2? Imavov?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the thing, is Imavov knocked out Izzy. Like, Imavov has a real case for the next shot. He's actually supposed to get the next shot. So I understand why they kept Strickland at 3, because, you know, you can't have recency bias. Like, just because Sean won a fight right now doesn't take away what Imavov already did, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, Hamzat, does he have a fight scheduled right now? Because they were talking about him fighting Imavov.
Yeah, not that I know of. No, he does not have one scheduled.
Yeah, see? And it's already been, I mean, how long has he been champ now? It's got to be 6 months.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of speculation the past couple of days about who he's going to fight.
I mean, is he holding out for the White House card?
That kind of seems
even if he is, like, the White House card is what, July?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be soon enough to where you got to start training.
You got to start. Yeah, you got to get into camp here in the next month. So it's like you gotta sign a fight. Mm-hmm. And so with that said, I mean, I could see a real scenario where they actually have Sean jump the line and have Strickland and Shemaev fight on the White House card. And I'll tell you why. Not just because Strickland is coming off an impressive win, but because those two legitimately hate each other. And that fight,
I'm assuming you heard the press conference after the mic got cut off.
Oh yeah, where he called him goat fucker and the mic got cut off. Bro,
Yeah.
you don't call somebody goat fucker and not have like some animosity there, dude. Like,
yeah.
And it isn't like this is a one-off. I mean, we all know Strickland talks shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Strickland he's been talking shit. But Shemaev and Strickland have a real beef that isn't just like I saw this guy in the hallway and I don't like him. Like Shemaev actually trained I think he actually trained at Strickland's gym.
Oh, I didn't know
for
that.
a short period because and I don't know all the details, right? I wasn't there, but I talked to or I heard Sean talk about it. I almost said I talked to Sean as if
I was gonna say shit. I didn't know you were that fucking connected.
No, I'm not. That's why I had to correct myself. You know, integrity is everything. So basically, what Sean says is that Hamzat was the kind of guy that he's a bully. Like he came into the gym and he looked for the weakest guy in the 185 weight class at the gym that he could spar with, and he would, wrestle fuck him and dominate him. But then when the tougher guys in the gym figured out what he was doing, they were like, hey, why don't you spar with me? All of a sudden he's like, oh, he didn't want to spar with them. And so, which is typical bully behavior. And I'm not saying that it's true or not because I wasn't there, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that I could see the possibility. Like Hamzat, he kind of strikes me that way. Some of the things that he said make me think that it's possible that he could, but at the same time, the thing that pushes back on that for me is that most bullies are cowards. Like they're afraid to fight people who actually can fight, right? And Hamzat is not afraid to fight people who can actually fight. He's fought Gilbert Burns. He's fought Dricus. Like he's fought some real dudes, Granted, he went to war with Gilbert Burns, not so much with Dricus. Like we saw what he did to Dricus, right? And it was terribly impressive how dominating it was, but it's not like he fucked Dricus up or anything. Like Dricus at the end of the 5th round didn't have a scratch on him. Like, how do you go through a 5-round fight with Hamzat and you don't have a scratch on you at the end? Like, so let's talk about this. Like, between Imavov and Strickland, who do you think deserves the shot right now, first of all?
After hearing what you were talking about Imavov, I would say he probably deserves it more than Strickland directly right now. But I'm adding the caveat is I think that Hamza and Strickland will be a hell of a lot more popular fight, especially on the White House card. You have all this hype with these guys hating each other, and you have Strickland, who is unabashedly proud of being American. So it sounds like he would do whatever it took to get on that White House card. So to me, is if you're going to make that kind of seems written in the stars, and you think Dana is going to be, okay, this is the popular fight. But with some of Strickland's comments, that could kind of go against him, saying, do we really want to put a belt on this guy and have a microphone in his face more?
Well, it's not just that. You're absolutely right. But do we want to put a microphone in this dude's face on the White House card? Because the White House card is going to be different than any other card that's ever taken place. Like, you can't just, after your fight, go out there and start throwing fucks in front of the whole world. Like, the White House card is going to be watched by the whole world, not just UFC fans in the United States. Like, governments are going to be watching that. You know what I mean? Because of the location. Like President Trump is going to be probably sitting front row there. You know, you'd have to think, or he's going to have a section. I don't even know how they're going to set that up logistically. Like they're going to have it on the lawn in the White House. Like
that's what I'm going to assume is you're going to have it on the fucking front lawn pretty much, but you're going to have to shut down blocks of DC. And I wouldn't even want just
clusterfuck, dude.
Oh yeah, because I wouldn't even want block shut down. I would want military on standby too.
Yeah, because you think
you're presenting a hell of a target.
Presenting a hell of a target. You're probably going to have a lot of high-level government officials there. If you were a terrorist, you know, you would think like this is the one.
That's why I hope we have a bunch of special forces guys sitting there.
Oh, I would almost guarantee
just waiting around. Let somebody's eyebrow twitch one too many times.
Oh, there's going to be snipers on the roof. Like dude, you can rest assured they will spare no expense on security. That's not going to be the problem. But Strickland, I mean, if he in some crazy world beats Hamzat, and all of a sudden he starts throwing out goat fucker this, and I mean, how's that going to go over on the White House card, dude? Like,
I think it will go over relatively well at the physical event, but in the media, that's going to be an absolute nightmare.
And that's what I'm trying to say is like, it's not just going to be the United States watching this, dude. So all of a sudden now you have world media paying attention to this, and he's calling him goat fucker on the most patriotic of like events, right? Like, dude, we're talking July 4th, 2026. It's the 250-year birthday of America. And like, so it's already a red, white, and blue extravaganza of like, look how great America is. And then you're going to get on there and start calling foreigners goat fuckers. That's not a good look, dude.
No,
it's not a good look. And that's what I'm saying is like, I could see Dana saying, as fucking awesome as a fight of a fight as this may be, Strickland is just too much of a risk.
That's what I was kind of getting at with it. I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of see him blackballed a little bit. He's got a very fervent fan base, but he doesn't have mass appeal.
Well, he's a former champ. I would argue he does have mass appeal in this way, because everybody who's a UFC fan, one way or the other, has an opinion about Sean Strickland. He's made himself that guy that you love to hate, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I would say his fan base is much smaller than his hater base. Like, not that he doesn't have a fan base. He has a fan base. There's a lot of MAGA dudes that support him. You know, I actually like him. He's not my favorite fighter, but I respect him as a fighter. Mm-hmm. I'm right there with you. I respect the fact that he's fearless about speaking about what he believes, and you know, he doesn't care if you agree or disagree. Like, I like that he has no filter, and he's not like playing the role of a good boy. Like, you know, nobody's going to confuse Sean Strickland for being a gentleman. You know what I mean?
Not in any way, shape, or form.
He's a rough and tough dude, and that's cool. Like, be who you are, bro. Like, you know, you're at the top of the sport.
I think what part of the issue is for the last 10, 15 years, we've seen damn near anybody in the public eye kind of have like a veiled image of themselves where we're only letting out this specific part because this group, that group, or the other group is going to have some kind of issue no matter what you say. So they stick with all this generic stuff. And now we got a guy that just don't give a shit about any of that. Mm-hmm. And it being such a bucking trend, it's kind of almost like shell shock. Like, hey.
Yeah, like, did he really just say that? Like, he called Hamzat a goat fucker, and then the very next sentence, he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm not going to get on the gays." Like, It's like this dude literally looks for every political landmine that he could possibly step on,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
steps on it intentionally. Like,
Yes. Like, I like Strickland and all, but there's sometimes he'll say shit, and I'm just like, dude, you got to start ending your stories a sentence earlier, man.
but then he wouldn't be Strickland, man.
Hey
Like,
there, Yoli.
he wouldn't be Strickland if he did that. I appreciate the no filter, no bullshit Sean Strickland.
Believe me, I like it too. It's just that it's almost so much of a throwback to where it just seems weird now, and that says a whole lot that kind of stuff seems weird.
You know who he kind of reminds me of in a way, and I'm not going to say that the resemblance is that close, not a physical resemblance, but an attitude resemblance. I'm not going to say it's that close, but I see similar traits. He reminds me of President Trump.
I can see what you're saying.
He's like he does not give a fuck if you like what he says, right? Like, but there's also that underlying thing of I want you to like me, you know? Like I think Sean has some of that. Like, I want you to like me, so I'm gonna say things that are edgy because like the crowd that I'm trying to appeal to, they like this kind of a thing, right? I think it's sort of like Dwayne Johnson and The Rock, right? Like if you've ever going back to old school, Attitude Era wrestling. Dwayne Johnson, when he was Rocky Maivia, it wasn't him, right? But when he was The Rock, when he became The Rock, he said, I took my personality and I took it to 1,000, right? And that was The Rock, right? So The Rock isn't really Dwayne Johnson. It's a part of Dwayne Johnson taken to level 1,000, amplified to level 1,000. I think the Strickland that we're seeing is a genuine piece of Sean Strickland, but I think he amplifies it to level 1,000 because he's full on playing WWE heel too.
I've been kind of wondering that myself to a degree, with not only the shit that he'll say, it's almost kind of the way he presents himself too with it, that it's almost like boastful when he says those certain things, and it's, well, I know this is going to play real well for the people I want it to play real well for, so I'm going to lean into it.
And I know it's going to piss off the people that I want it to piss off.
But that's also going to lead into a problem a lot of the wrestlers back in the Attitude Era and before that had, of when does the line between character and person get blurred to where there's no longer a line?
I mean,
I'm not looking for an answer to the question. I'm just stating is, when does the persona just become who you are?
Yeah, no, it's a very valid point. And it's funny because Strickland, like I said, he looks for every landmine that he can step on. It's almost like he just walks into your house and smears shit on your walls, and then he like points at the walls and he's like, look what I did. Like, you like it? It's Van Gogh, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you're sitting there like, you just smeared shit on the walls. Like, no, I don't like it. Like, I respect the hell out of you for doing it, like for having the nuts to do it. But no, this just created a huge shitty mess that now somebody else is going to have to clean up. Like that. I think that's the perfect analogy, if I'm being honest. Like he comes in and he smears shit all over the walls, and then he's like, ta-da! Like, it's like, okay. Bro, like, but so Imavov, I think Strickland versus Imavov, or Shemaev versus Imavov is a very interesting fight because Imavov, he can punch, dude. He knocked out Izzy and knocked him out bad, dude. Like, he didn't KO him like sleeping KO'd, but he had Izzy on like newborn baby giraffe legs, dude. Like, you know what I mean? And Izzy's got say what you want about Izzy. Izzy's got a fucking chin, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like that dude has taken some shots from the hardest. Look at the fact that when he fought Alex Pereira, right? He lost the first time by TKO, but Alex was bombing on him, dude. And he was still standing. Like the fight got stopped. He didn't melt and go down. And like, you know, he was still like he was leaning over and he was getting hit, but he didn't go out. And then in the second fight, he was the same thing. He was up against the cage getting bombed on, and he managed to throw that beautiful check hook in that right hand that put, you know, Alex out. But bro, those shots, they drop everyone else. Like nobody so far has been able to stand up to those shots except Izzy. Now, granted, part of that is probably because it was at 185 and Alex is not a true 185er. But nonetheless, the fact remains, dude, Izzy has a fucking chin, bro. You know? And so the fact that Imavov was able to baby deer leg him is like, that's impressive. So Imavov, but the thing is, I don't think Imavov has the takedown defense to be able to stop Hamzat from taking him down. Whereas with Strickland, I think we've said this, you and I have said this before. If Strickland can't beat Hamzat, there's nobody in that division who can beat Hamzat. Like if Hamzat can do to Strickland what he did to Dricus, there's nobody in that division that's going to be able to take him out for a long, long time. Strickland is our last hope. If anybody is hoping for Hamzat to lose that belt, Strickland is your last hope, dude. And isn't it funny? Like, because there's people who hate Hamzat. There's people who legitimately don't like Hamzat. I'm not one of them. I like Hamzat. But
yeah, me too.
But there's people who don't like Hamzat, right? Especially after the last fight with Dricus. Isn't it funny that because the people who don't like Hamzat, they also don't like Strickland. So now you're going to have to pin your hopes on an even more controversial candidate. Like your only hope that Hamzat is going to lose is you have to pin your hopes on Strickland. Like it's funny. It's an ironic situation.
What's funny too is it seems like the people that like Strickland, like Hamzat, because hey, you just said you like both of them. I like both of them.
They're similar guys.
To me, you win no matter what with this fight.
I think if they didn't have the beef, like I think these guys could be. They would. Well, Hamzat, I believe, is Muslim. I don't think he drinks alcohol. But my point was like these guys would be the type to have beers together. You know what I mean? Like that, I think they both are similar personalities, type A personalities, right? But there's real legitimate beef there. And the thing is, when you have two type A personalities like that with legitimate beef, like
that ain't dying.
They hate each other. Like they really do. But let's talk about that potential fight, right? Like I don't want to get too far into Imavov versus Chimaev because honestly, I think Chimaev is just going to wipe him, dude. Like Imavov has the power, the punching power to make it interesting until Chimaev gets him down. But I think once Chimaev gets him down, it's over. Whereas Strickland doesn't just have phenomenal takedown defense. He's also really good at getting back up once you take him down. Like once you put him against the cage and you pull him down, he's one of the best in the game at getting back to his feet. So the question and another asset to his game, Strickland has a ridiculous gas tank, dude. He goes 5 rounds at the same pace. He never gets tired. You know, you never see him slowing down and like laboring his punches. And part of that reason is because he's not a streaky fighter, right? He's not a guy who comes in and explodes and burns a bunch of energy. He's very conservative with his energy throughout the fight. He fights the same pace, the same way, just steady, right? So, whereas Hamzat is more of a streaky fighter. Like Hamzat is come in, take you down, explode, and try to finish you And, Hamzat is not that stable kind of fighter. So it creates an interesting breakdown for the fight. Like, give me your thoughts. Like, you're imagining the White House card, Shemaya versus Strickland. How does that fight go?
It all depends totally on that whole on the takedown game. If Hamza can be the one to crack Strickland's defense and just hold him to the mat, I think you're going to see a dominant performance from him. And then if Strickland makes it to where Hamza can't take him down for shit, I think Strickland has the major, well, not major, but a damn good advantage standing because, like how we talked with his technical boxing and all that. And I'm not sitting here saying Shemaev is terrible on his feet. He's pretty good. But his bread and butter is the wrestling. And if Strickland can take that away, I think that's the path for him to fucking go out there and take the card or take the belt on the White House card for him. But I can also see from some of the fucking matches we've seen from Hamza that he's just going to possibly ragdoll him. To me, that this fight literally comes down to that one specific key area, and that's going to decide the entire thing.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that it's gonna be one of those situations like we know that Strickland has tremendous takedown defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like if Hamzat gets him down, actually manages to get him down and keep him down, that he finishes him right then? Or do you feel that it's more like what we saw with Dricus, where he takes him down, continues to take him down?
I got a feeling it's either going to be the continuous taking down or he's going to wrestle fuck him. I don't know if he's going to want to finish him because of how dangerous Strickland can be. But at the same time, like we said, these guys hate each other. That he might not look at winning on a decision as a win. This might be one of those that I want to finish this guy.
And that's what every fan is hoping for. I was actually thinking about this fight this morning before I went to jiu-jitsu, and I was just thinking to myself, like, I wonder if Hamzat is going to play it safe like he did against Dricus and just take him down and just lay on him and just wrestle fuck him for 25 minutes and be happy to get out of there with a decision. Because then I can only imagine Strickland's post-fight comments like, bro, we're sitting here, we're two guys who's supposed to hate each other, and you're going to come in here and wrestle fuck? Like, come on, dude. The fans wanted to see a fucking war. Let's give them a war, And Strickland is the type. He'll bro, let's stand up. Let's fucking bang. Like, I got a chin, you got a chin. I got punches, you got punches. Let's sit here and let's just box this shit out. Like, Strickland is that kind of guy. So
yeah, but don't you think that massively favors Strickland in a boxing match?
I think it massively favors Strickland in the sense that his technical boxing is super sharp and his jab is fucking lethal. But I think Hamzat has the punching power advantage, and Hamzat can fight, dude. He can stand up. Like, just because he doesn't mean he can't, right? Like, go back and watch some of his earlier fights, and from before he was like a top contender, he was knocking dudes out with one punch. Like, Gerald Mearshart, he flatlined him in like 15 seconds. First punch of the fight. First punch of the fight.
The last few fights that I've seen of him, his stand-up looked all right, but to me, it didn't look anything spectacular.
Yeah, well, go watch that Gilbert Burns fight again. Watch Gilbert Burns versus Hamzat. And keep in mind that that's 170 Hamzat, right? Mm-hmm. Hamzat is not a 170. He was killing himself to make that weight, dude. And he was getting sick because of it. Now he's at his more natural weight. I don't believe it's his natural weight. I think Hamzat could easily become a 205er. He's got the frame for it. He's tall enough. I believe he's probably cutting down from in that 210 range to 185 to fight. So yeah, I definitely think Hamzat could do it. And he's talking about it. He wants to fight Alex Pereira. But actually he wants to fight Yuri first, which is
see, I didn't hear anything about that. I heard the speculation about him and Alex, but not Yuri.
Yeah, but he's not going to be able to just jump up to 205 and cut the line to get a title shot. That's why he wants to fight Yuri, because it's his quickest path to the top 5. He gets a win there. All of a sudden, you can justify him and Alex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's just... Yuri versus Hamzat is a very appealing fight for a lot of reasons, but I don't think it's going to go the way people are hoping it's going to go. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, people want to see that fight. I mean, it's not even like that it's signed or anything. It's being talked about, like Hamzat is talking about it, but that's how you manifest these kind of fights. You put it out into the ether, you put the feelers out. Any UFC fan should want to see that fight. Like, it sounds like a fantastic fight, but I don't think it's going to go the way that people think it's going to go, because I think people are, when they hear Hamzat versus Yuri, they're expecting the crazy type of wars that Yuri gets into, and I don't think Hamzat is doing that. I think he's going to wrestle fuck, and he's just looking to go in there, wrestle fuck, get the win, and go on to Alex.
Yeah,
right?
but with Yuri's craziness there and complete unpredictability, that might give him an advantage against Hamzat to a degree. Of Hamzat's usually the fucking guy that's pressing the action a lot of the times, and now you have somebody in your face like that just trying to beat your nose into the back of your head. It's kind of hard to get a takedown when you're constantly trying to evade punches. And Yuri has that kind of crazy gas tank that, well, I don't know, I'd say gas tank, the aggressiveness, that's more what I mean. That I could see him being all over him straight from the jump.
Yeah. No, this is why I said that this fight is appealing, because you're absolutely right. Number one, Yuri, to fight at 205, Yuri's likely cutting down from 235. So he has a natural size advantage over Hamzat, right? Like, let's say Hamzat walks around at 210, 220, right? Yuri walks around probably at 235. Like, I would say 230, 235. So he has that natural 5 to 10 pound weight advantage, which matters when you're fighting. It matters. Then Yuri is the type that likes to walk people down, right? So Yuri is going to be trying to walk him down. The question is, like, Hamzat is also the guy that likes to walk people down to try to get the takedowns. So somebody is going to have to lead and somebody is going to have to follow. And that's going to be one of the most interesting aspects of that fight, is who is able to land something of significance early that forces the other person into the retreat mode while you're in the chase mode, right? Like, so
do you really see even Yuri taking some shit that's going to put him into retreat mode? Because I can't really think of a fight offhand where he's just backing away.
No. Well, I thought Khalil Roundtree did a pretty good job. Khalil Roundtree started to actually sort of walk him down in the second round of that fight. And, you know, he was landing good shots, and it wasn't Yuri's type of fight until the third round, when all of a sudden Yuri was like, dude, I got to start throwing spinning elbows and shit. Like, sitting here trying to box this guy is not working, right? I need to be Yuri. So I could see a situation like that, but I think Yuri is smart enough to understand Hamzat's game. And, like, in order to keep Hamzat from playing his game, you have to keep him on the back foot. If he's the one pressing forward, he's going to be the one shooting takedowns. It's hard to shoot a takedown when you're on your back foot. I mean, you can shoot. I'm not saying you can't, but it makes it more difficult because now your back's against the cage. You got to shoot into the open octagon instead of being able to shoot him into the cage, right? Like to put his back against the cage and try to take him down. So if I'm Yuri, my strategy is I'm giving up no ground. Like, I don't care if you knock me out in the middle of the ring. I'm not giving you an inch of ground. I'm not going to be the one to let you walk me down. We're either going to, if you're not going to let me walk you down, and I'm not going to let you walk me down, then that means we're going to stand in the middle of the fucking cage and bang, dude. Which I think favors Yuri.
And I think Yuri's the perfect man for that.
Yeah, but I don't think that Hamzat's going to play that game. I think I believe Hamzat is a high-level enough wrestler and grappler that he can shoot even with his back off the cage and possibly land a takedown. And that's going to be, I think that's the game he's going to look to play because it's the smart play. Hamzat doesn't get a lot of credit for how smart of a fighter he is. Like, he in a lot of ways, he's like Islam. Like, he's a very crafty and intelligent fighter. Like, he knows that he can sit there and bang with you if he needs to, but why do that when I can just take it to my wheelhouse, right? Like, I'm going to fight my kind of fight and force you to fight my kind of fight. And I think he's very smart about that. But, you know, he's got to get by. He's got to defend his belt first because I don't think there's any way that they're going to give him the Yuri fight before he defends his belt, unless he's just going to give up the belt. Which, why go to all that trouble to win the belt just to give it up without even defending it, right? There's just too much there. Like, you have a potential fight with Strickland, which we've both talked about. That's a moneymaker, dude. Like, that's a money-making fight because Strickland has a name and he has a huge hater base. Hamzat has a huge fan base, plus a pretty good-sized hater base, right? So then there's the grudge match element of it. Like, that fight's going to sell.
Sure. I know that it's kind of a long shot for the political reasons we talked about. But that's why I hope we get this fight on the fucking White House card. Because you and I have been preparing for like half the year that we're going to get fucking Ilya and Patty on the White House card there so we can get a grudge match for it there. Well, that ain't happening no more. I still want a damn grudge match.
Yeah. I want more than one. You know, I think McGregor versus Diaz 3 should be on that too, because that's a grudge match too. Like, the funny thing is it's a different kind of a grudge match, because I don't think Nate and Connor really hate each other. I think they actually, over the course of their fights, have grown a respect for one another, right? Like, I think they genuinely respect each other, and I think they realize that they do better business together. Like, Nate is the perfect foil to Connor's outlandish personality, right? Whereas Nate's like, you know, he can talk shit too, but Nate's like, whatever, I'm just gonna beat your ass, bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and Nate has the only finish in their trilogy, or their two fights so far. Nate has the bragging rights of saying, I choked you out. What have you done? Like, you beat me by decision, a close decision, right? A majority decision, like, but I choked you out. Like, so there's a grudge there because I feel like they have a genuine rivalry, but it's like, it's a respectful rivalry.
I was going to say, there we go. I think that is the better term for it, is that it's a rivalry and not a grudge.
Yeah, and there's a difference between a rivalry and a grudge. What's up, David? Rousey Carano. I'm sorry. Like, I used to, you know, look, and it's nothing against either of them. Like, I'm not shitting on women's MMA. As a matter of fact, if you've been watching the show for any amount of time, you'll know that one of my favorite fighters is actually a woman. Valentina Shevchenko is like in my upper echelon of fighters. Like, she's one of my favorites of all time.
Now, if this fight would have happened 10 years ago, I would have been all over this fight.
Yeah, that's the thing, is this fight is 10 years past its best by date. and it's maybe even more like it's past its best by date. And Ronda, as quiet as it's kept, Ronda has brain damage, dude. Like that's why she had to retire, is because she had some concussions that nobody really knew about, and like her camp did a really good job of not disclosing it, but it got to the point where it was like, you need to stop fighting or you can face permanent like you could be a vegetable basically. And
Awesome.
so she retired, and now it's like you're coming in 10 years later and you're gonna fight. Like, I don't think Ronda's chin is there anymore. I think,
And I was going to say Gina might have been out of the fight game for a while, but you got to think she's still got to retain at least some of what she had, because she was one bad bitch back in her day.
yeah, the fight is compelling in the sense that I think they're both roughly in the same place now. They're both well past their primes, so it's a good legends fight, right? Like, but I don't think that Ronda should be fighting. Like, I really, I
Yeah.
think,
After hearing that, I got to agree with you there, because at first I heard about it and I had a little bit of excitement. Like, I'd watch it, not something I'm going to get hyped for, but hearing that, all that, you're playing a major freaking gamble just to try to stay relevant. And I got a feeling that that's all this is. Because don't forget, it was what, a couple weeks to a month ago, she was sitting there talking all that shit about Cain Velasquez and all these other UFC stars. Like, you're just trying to keep your name out there in the public.
bro.
You would be surprised.
Let me
You'd be
introduce
very
you to
surprised.
MMA, David. Like, because doctors do it all the time. Michael Bisping managed to pass vision tests with one eye and still compete, and won a world title with one eye. So there's things, it's the same in the NFL, David. Like, they overlook certain injuries all the time because it makes more money when your stars are out there.
And not even just overlooking. You got to remember the major part in the fight game of payoffs.
Yeah, I don't want to go that far because I don't think that UFC has gone full on pride yet. But
I was going to say, we've seen this shit since boxing. You can't tell me that you honestly don't feel like that's happening at least somewhere involved in it. Now, the UFC might not be contributing to it, but I got a feeling somebody out there has paid off some doctor to give them
no, I'm not saying that they're not. Like, there's actually an active FBI investigation right now into certain fighters over betting inconsistencies.
Yeah, they just shut down a fight last week of the card before that because of it.
Yeah. And there have been fighters that have come out and said, yeah, people have offered me money to take a dive. Like, so I'm not saying it doesn't happen, right? What I'm saying is I don't have explicit proof. So before I go making those type of accusations, I get sued for slander or defamation.
Where I am extrapolating, and I'm not putting it directly on anybody.
Right. You're just saying, you're acknowledging the reality that it happens.
Yeah.
And I will co-acknowledge the reality with you that it happens.
And why I absolutely get where you're coming from in that in the perfect world where people actually adhere to guidelines and have integrity, that's how it should be. But from being a lifelong boxing fan, I have seen that shit way too many times for me to write it off, unfortunately.
And here's another aspect of it, David. This might it's not going to make you feel better about it, but when I say that Ronda has brain damage, I'm not saying that when you go look at her brain scan right now that you're going to see an area of her brain that is damaged, like that is compromised. What I'm saying is the number of concussions that she had where people didn't know about it, it took her chin. And you see it at the end of her career. She was getting knocked out left and right. And so it's she had to quit because basically they were telling her, like, if you continue to take this type of damage, we can't tell you what's going to happen in the future.
We're almost looking at like a Tua situation here.
Yeah. Like, we can't tell you what one more hit is going to do, right? Like, it could do nothing, or you could be pudding.
We got a couple minutes. I'll fucking add Dave real quick. We only got a couple of minutes here, Wyatt, but you can hop on real quick. But definitely join us next week too. You're more than welcome to.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where CTE is a very real thing, but it doesn't show up until much later, and Ronda's already a candidate for it. So do I want to see her potentially get knocked out ugly again and then, step further into that potential CTE area? I don't. I think Ronda's good where she's at. I really don't think she should fight. I think Ronda's legacy is established. Like, she's the pioneer of women's MMA. Like, she had a wonderful career. She had, a lot of title defenses. Like, she was the baddest bitch on earth for a little while.
Yeah, after Gina retired, because all those titles were hers before that.
And they're gonna settle it once and for all. But I don't know, dude. For me, it's kind of like Chuck and Tito, right? Like, when they were in their primes, Chuck demolished Tito twice. Then all of a sudden, in their third fight, when Chuck was already like brain damage, CTE, like has no chin left, who never knocked anybody out, Tito knocks Chuck out in the first round, right? Like, and now it's like, oh, well, Tito won one. It's like, how far are we going to drag this corpse? Like, would Ronda versus Gina have been an amazing fight 10 years ago? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But
what's
now,
up there, Wyatt?
How's it going, Ken? I don't know. Do you think that's why she stopped wrestling, dude? Is because the head fucking deal?
No, why she stopped wrestling? That one was because she spazzed out at some event and put a referee in an armbar and snapped his elbow. That's why she's not with the WWE. At least from the stories that I've read about it.
I just want to point out, hyperaggression is one of the beginning signs of CTE.
Yes, it is.
I didn't know, and I don't know, man. I guess I just don't see a doctor clearing someone with.
And why I get where you're coming from, especially knowing you're more of an optimist type of guy. To where I want to be on the page with you. I really fucking do. But I've seen too many instances of the complete opposite and documented instances of it to where I can't rule that shit out.
And I'll give you a glowing example. Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit, up until the day that he murdered his wife and his son, Chris Benoit was getting cleared to wrestle every single night.
Mm-hmm. And his brain looked like fucking cottage or Swiss cheese.
His brain was scrambled. That I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when they actually took his brain for study during the autopsy, his brain was riddled with CTE, right?
Mm-hmm. And he ended up
to the surprise of no one, right? Like, they said that his brain looked like an 80-year-old Alzheimer's patient's brain.
And it's a shame because I loved him as a wrestler, man.
Yep. Right. So did I.
But my point is he was seeing, they see doctors, they have to get cleared. In order to wrestle, they have to get cleared by an athletic commission, I believe. And doctors were clearing him every single night.
Joe, I might have to push back on that part of it. That is why that Vince McMahon had come out in the mid-late 90s there and admitted that it was a work, so they didn't have to follow the guidelines of the athletic commission. Yeah. Okay.
That's fair, but they still have doctors on staff. Right?
Yes, they still do have a wellness policy. Now, they are known for not following that.
WWE doctors are another story, though, dude.
Yeah, but are they? Or are
Those doctors are
WWE
the same
doctors the
doctors in the
same as
fight
UFC doctors, the same as boxing doctors? Like, there's been plenty of boxers who should never have been allowed in a ring again. I can tell you, for example, Meldrick Taylor. After the damage that he took in the first and second Chavez fights, like, he was starting to slur his speech, and he continued to fight for another 10 years, and he was getting knocked out, ugly knockouts.
I stopped watching boxing somewhere between Ali and Tyson.
Yeah, well,
So, like Ali,
I'm telling
like
you,
Ali probably shouldn't have been licensed to fight after the second Foreman fight in Manila.
yeah.
They should have never let him back in the fucking ring, dude.
And the fact that they the fact that they let him in the ring with Larry Holmes was criminal.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm sorry, dude.
But that's my point. It's not something new, David.
Talking to somebody and you're going, there's
It's
something
not.
wrong.
This isn't something new. And the thing is, Ronda isn't at that stage where Ali was, right? Ronda, she can still talk, she can still function. So, on the surface, everything appears fine. But she's had several high-grade concussions that it puts you only got so many concussions in you before you're going to face permanent brain damage. And brain damage is the kind of thing that doesn't just show up overnight. It shows up 10 years from now, 15 years from now.
It just makes me wonder, dude. Like, really, are you that fucking broke that you need to fight again?
I don't think it's that she's broke. I seriously think it's that she's missing the popularity of the MMA, of the WWE, and now that people aren't talking about her like she used to, she's finding her way to get it.
I do agree with you, Ken. I
don't see her beating Gina Carano. I really don't.
I think that if she gets touched on the chin, she's going to sleep.
I don't even think 10 years ago that she beats Gina Carano.
I think it's a much better fight.
Yes.
It might be a better fight, dude, but she ain't gonna beat Gina Carano, dude.
See, I don't know, because Ronda, for what she was, Ronda was a specialist.
Yeah,
her judoka background is, let's not. We can't whitewash history and be like, oh, Ronda was never that good because she got knocked out by Amanda Nunes. No, there was a time when Ronda was the most dominant women's fighter in the world, and she deserves her flowers for that.
Mm-hmm.
And Gina was a good fighter. Like, don't get me wrong, Gina was a good fighter, great fighter even. But I definitely, if this fight is 10 years ago, Ronda's a live dog. I'm not going into it saying she has no chance.
Yeah, and I absolutely love Gina Carano. That's my favorite women's fighter. But I have to say, too, that fight's going to be very damn close if it happened 10 years ago, like we said. But we are unfortunately at that time. We want to thank everybody. Yep, thank everybody here for watching. Thanks for your comments. Make sure you tune in and check us out next Wednesday, the exact same time.
2 o'clock, Kenny?
Yeah, Central.
Okay.
And make sure you tell a friend about our podcast. Get the word out, like, subscribe, and we will see y'all next week.
Yeah, yo, it's game time, ain't no messing around. Huddle Sports Network, the best in town. From NFL rumors to the latest.